When you think about Camry, you think about DOM cars, like doctor's cars or even dentist cars. It's not one of the most fuel-efficient vehicles out there. In fact, it's known to be a gas guzzler. Plus, it's an exclusively executive car, probably a pseudo-luxury car. But with high gas prices these days, and this Camry Hybrid that we have right here, it's now one of the most value-packed purchases you can get in the market today. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph. And when Toyota President Akio Toyoda says no more boring cars, I think this is what he had in mind. This is the all-new Toyota Camry Hybrid. Starting off with the front fascia right here, this is the complete opposite of what you might be thinking a Camry might look like, because you've got all these dynamic character lines that run across the hood, and these lines actually look like they're pointing towards this blue Toyota badge right here in the middle. And right at the bottom, you find its most striking feature. You got this blacked out grille right here at the bottom, complete with this camera up front here. You got some sensors, which we'll be talking about what they're used for later on. Plus you got LED headlamps, LED fog lamps. It's totally the complete package for me. Overall, the front fascia is a definite complete departure from the earlier designs of the Camry, and I'm excited to see and show you the side profile, because that's where a lot of the changes are and a lot of what I like about this huge mid-size sedan. Now, like I said, here the side profile, you see a lot of the changes and a lot of the details I love about the Camry Hybrid, which is definitely different from the past generations, which featured boxy or even bulbous designs that kind of look boring, to be honest. But in this case, it's definitely not a boring car, because you can see all these character lines. These 18-inch two-tone alloy wheels are actually quite large, but if you put it in a car like this, in the Toyota Camry Hybrid, it actually looks kind of small. In if you put it in this perspective, probably 19 inches or even 20s will definitely do this really well. Now you got these chrome door handles as well as a chrome strip right across the windows here. You definitely know it is an executive car because of those chrome strips. Got another chrome strip right here underneath the side mirrors, plus a turn signal there as well. Now, apart from being fuel efficient, the Toyota Camry is also one fast mother. And what you have right here is a great show to all the cars that you're leaving behind, because you have this nice LED tail lamps here, LED side turn signals, as well as an LED backup light. But that's definitely not what we are here for in the back, because these tail lamps actually resemble that of Toyota's current design language. Right underneath there, you only got one exhaust port, because why would you need two exhaust ports in a hybrid, right? This is a hybrid sedan. You don't have to pretend that you need to be sporty. But what this is, though, is one practical sedan, because right here, as you notice, I actually used the key fob to open up the rear boot here, and you get to access to all this space in the rear. Nothing can really beat a sedan when it comes to space, when it comes to, you know, just putting all your stuff in here. I can definitely imagine putting about 2 or 3 weeks worth of groceries inside. I definitely see myself having this if I want to use this as a practical grocery getter or someone who picks a lot of people in the airport. But going fast, yes, this definitely does the trick. Let's take a look at the inside, because that's where a lot of the features are that makes this a really good Camry, a really good car, in fact. All right, so we're inside the Toyota Camry Hybrid, and as you can see, well, probably the previous driver of this car was preferred to drive this way, but thanks to memory seats right here, I can set it back to my optimum driving position. And yes, all of that is happening automatically right here. So there we go. So as you see there, it has memory seats for these power operated seats, and then a power operated steering wheel adjuster as well, which is amazing, and I love that feature. You've got your gauge clusters right here. You don't have any odometers because this is a hybrid vehicle. Instead, you get this dial right here that indicates of what particular mode it is as of right now. Now, the highlight of the Toyota Camry Hybrid is, of course, this dashboard. Now, previously, Toyota Camrys have always been about function over form. In this case here, it's more of a balance. Now you can see this nice curve on the middle of the dashboard here. I'm glad that it's not piano black. You do get piano black up top right here, but it's on the areas that you don't actually touch, which I love. I really love how this curve looks like. It creates a sense of a division between you and the passenger, so everyone has their own space right there. You got a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system powered by JBL. It has 9 speakers all around. This 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system definitely gives credence to the term infotainment, because apart from being very entertaining, of course, you got information up the wazoo, like usual hybrids from Toyota. If you're really into data, or you're really into information about your car, this is for you. Now, out of the box, the sound that you're getting from the 9-speaker Bose system is nothing short of amazing. You never modify a Camry, whether in the exterior or the interior, or even the electronics. And I'm glad that Toyota was actually able to give us premium sound inside the Camry, and I love that. You also have wireless charging right here below. Wireless charging, so if your phone has that feature, you can put that right there. But one thing I found out right now is that an iPhone 13 Pro Max, yes, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, just kidding, it's our camera guy's phone. Yeah, he's a lucky guy. So yeah, got this large phone right here, and it barely fits. It fits just right there on the charger. But phones these days, I mean, they keep getting bigger and bigger, so I'm afraid that in 2 years time, once you have an 8-inch phone in your hand, it's not gonna fit there. So in like 2 years time, once you have an 8-inch phone in your hand, grasping it tightly like this. So in 2 years time, if you got an 8-inch phone in your hand, I'm afraid it's not going to fit. It's going to be a tight fit, yes. So I don't see that being ideal at all. So yes, you got to keep your phone small. It's not about the size, it's about the performance, right guys? But you got a 12-volt power socket right there for your accessories, and you got this USB port to plug in your phone. Unfortunately, it does not have wireless Android Auto, so that's a bummer for me. At the bottom, you got your drive mode selectors. You got your electronic parking brake with automatic brake hold and an EV mode button. So if the battery has enough charge in it, you can just click on EV mode. As long as you're not above the about 60 kilometers. If you're below 60 kilometers per hour, you can activate that EV mode. But if you go faster than that, the gasoline or the internal combustion engine will activate itself. We'll talk about that in the drive later on. I'm just too excited. The seats, like I said, they're power operated. It also has lumbar support. Oh wow, that feels good. That feels great. Lumbar support is very important, especially during those long drives. You want to keep your back as supported as possible. All right, so yes, all in all, it's a great looking interior. You got this nice power moonroof as well if you need extra light to come in. That's perfect for everyday use, except in the city. You never do that. If you have asthma, you're not going to want to do that. All right, yeah, the engine just started up. It's charging the battery right now. Let's take a look at the rear passenger seats, because that's where a lot of the toys are. Most people who buy Camrys, at least in this market, in our local market, use this as a driver-driven car, so they prefer to be driven. So let's go and check that experience out. All right, so right here, the second row seats. Yep, you got a lot of space here. I mean, despite me having the seats set up for my optimum driving position and then some, because I want to stretch my legs, I still have a lot of room for my legs here. My knees don't hit the front seats at all, and my feet, my Jordans, actually have a lot of space to jostle around. I like how the second row seats are nicely bolstered. It's very comfortable. It's not claustrophobic at all, and if you want to isolate the outside world, you can just pull up this sunshade right here, as I like to call them, peasant blinds. So you can let the driver handle whoever is outside, and you are in complete privacy. There you go. Nice. This is a triple zone automatic climate control kind of vehicle. So these vents, they're not just vents. You can actually control them. Plus right below them, you got these two USB ports with fast charging. They have 2.1 amps. You definitely know that this is a driver-driven vehicle because you got a lot of toys for the rear passenger. You can actually have these features. There you go. It has power recline features. Can move the rear seats forward and back. It's a great feature, I gotta say. If you don't want a driver controlling the music, you can actually control it from the back. The niftiest feature of all, a rear power sunshade, right? So if your tint isn't enough, you can actually pull that up. If it's too warm, too bright, too hot, just pull that up right there. I forgot to show you this. If you need to reach out some stuff to the back, you could just have this nice little window right here. Probably reach for an umbrella. I got the umbrella right here. So right, no need to get wet. You're not gonna get wet if it's raining outside. Just reach out for it. Easy peasy. All right, so we've seen all the features that we can get from the interior. Now for the exciting part, let's take this out for a drive and see how that 2.5 liter hybrid engine does. It's gonna be exciting. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the Toyota Camry Hybrid. The first thing that you'd notice upon hitting that start-stop button is that you won't be hearing anything at all because upon startup, it's the electric motor that's powering the vehicle. There's no noise from the engine at all. But once you do get up to speed, yeah, there it is. So under that hood, you've got a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated Atkinson cycle engine mated to an electric motor. All in all, a max power output to make about 209 horsepower and 211 newton meters of torque. Now, those power figures is actually more powerful than the naturally aspirated Toyota Camry that it replaces. But it's more fuel efficient. So if you had your old stereotypes about the Camry being a gas guzzler, relatively slow vehicle where you can get bad fuel mileage out of, forget about it, because I'm gonna talk about fuel mileage right now. In the city, I got about 18 kilometers per liter. That's right, 18 kilometers per liter. And on the highway, pretty much the same, 17, 18 kilometers per liter on the highway as well. Now, the reason why I get around the same or even sometimes better fuel economy in the city, what happens is that when you're in stop and go traffic, it utilizes that electric motor even more than when you're out on the highway. Because when you're out on the highway, it doesn't need the electric motor to run at optimum capacity. So it uses the internal combustion engine and a little bit of the hybrid when you're at cruising speed. As it runs on the highway and as you brake, it gives it the opportunity to charge up that electric motor. Now, once you hit stop and go traffic in the city, that's when you use most of the electric propulsion in the Camry Hybrid, in hybrid vehicles from Toyota in particular. NVH is definitely good, especially in driving in the highway or around the city, but it's not perfect per se. I mean, you'll definitely still be hearing a lot of the motorcycles outside, but you can't blame the Camry for that because they're definitely really loud. The Camry does a great job with keeping the noise at a bare minimum. I mean, it's not perfect because the roads here itself in the Philippines isn't perfect at all, but it does a great job. And yeah, I might have had my reservations about those 18-inch wheels. I thought they were too small for this, but it enables the Camry to have higher profile tires, so even more comfort, even more fuel economy. The steering is electronically powered, but it's nicely weighted, right? So even though it's still power steering, it's easy to park, especially in tight corners, but on the highway, it definitely stiffens up even more. So you definitely want to have a stiff and hard steering feel when you drive. You do have McPherson struts up front and a double wishbone setup right there in the rear. So they definitely didn't skimp on the suspension. It's definitely tuned more for comfort rather than sportiness, but I wouldn't be taking this carving out canyons in Marilake.
and being a kamote. No, you can't be a kamote in a Toyota Camry. This is not the Toyota Kamote, it's the Toyota Camry. Now let's talk about safety, since the safety features have been jumping right at me as while I'm driving here. So what you have here is you've got your standard airbags, you got stability control, you got ABS with the electronic brake force distribution, the regular stuff. This body style of the Camry has already received a perfect score in DSA and NCAP. So when it comes to safety and crash safety, this is definitely a safe car. But Toyota upped the ante on this one by giving it Toyota Safety Sense. Toyota Safety Sense, of course, is their suite of active and passive safety features to ensure a safer drive. So you've got sensors everywhere, you get cameras everywhere, you got this new 360-degree camera feature that definitely helps you out going through those tight spaces and those tight corners. So when you're parking as well, that 360-degree camera helps. It also has lane keep assist. There you go, you can hear that right now, and lane departure warning, so that's nice. It also has adaptive cruise control, so it uses not just the cameras but radar systems all around as well to make sure that even though I'm on cruise control, the speed still adapts itself to whatever is on front of the vehicle. So that's nice. That's another great feature. It's also got forward collision mitigation warning system. So it's just basically a great driver's car, especially if you're thinking about getting this for the family. Pricing for the Toyota Camry Hybrid HEV, Camry Hybrid, starts at 2,402,000 pesos. You'll have to pay an extra 15,000 pesos if you want to get the pearl white version of this one. Now you might balk at the sticker price right there, and you might get some sticker shock because of the starting price of the Toyota Camry Hybrid. But who's this for? The Camry Hybrid are for those in the market for, or who were in the market for, a diesel-powered mid-sized SUV. But diesels are less refined. They're not as smooth. They wish they were as smooth as something like a hybrid. Plus, the price of diesel these days, whatever savings that you get from a diesel-powered engine is pretty much offset because of that price. I guess I'm right up there. I'm getting old, and my priorities are starting to change. Camry Hybrid, it's definitely a great value.
And that's my final thoughts about the Toyota Camry Hybrid. I want to know what you feel about this, so drop me a comment in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This is Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph, and I'll see you guys next time.